Welcome to the Help for Leaders podcast. I'm Stacey Harris, and I'm passionate about showing leaders the power of communication and how it can transform their organizations, from Fortune 500 boardrooms all the way to brand new startups. As a leader, your actions and your words transform people and your company culture. So join me as I share tips and insights for elevating your leadership abilities as well as your team's performance. Let's dive right in. Welcome back to the Help for Leaders podcast. This is the second podcast in our series on communication and human behavior. So today we're going to talk about people and contacts. And I want to talk about the continuum of communication. So you're either on one end, which you're extremely outgoing, or the other end of that continuum is someone who's very reserved. And you can fall anywhere in between. And so that's what we're going to talk about. If you're someone who's extremely outgoing, you're all about people. You're all about context. You're all about high contactability. You're assertive. You're fast-paced. You're fun. You love to have a good time. You're all about connecting with people. And the other end of that continuum is someone who's very reserved. And your preference is to work alone. You would rather not have to interact with people. You would rather work alone. You want to be more reserved in your communication. You want to take more time to process information and think about things. You don't want to be called on to have to present just right off the cuff. You really want to take time to think about what you're going to say, and you're definitely more reserved. And so let's talk about that whole continuum of people and contacts and how to communicate effectively with individuals on both ends of that continuum. So maybe you're someone who's extremely outgoing. You're all about people. You're all about your team. And now you're in a virtual meeting. And so you want to make sure that your video camera is on, because you can get really distracted, and you don't want to be distracted. You want to be present. You want to make sure you're communicating, because very outgoing people, it's like squirrel, shiny object. Oh my goodness, that's pretty classic behavior for those really outgoing individuals. If you're someone who's very reserved, you, like I mentioned earlier, don't want to be called out. You want to be prepared. You want to know what's coming. And so make sure when you're leading your teams, you know who's on your team, and being able to communicate in a way that's most effective so that the collaboration is really effective and it's helpful. So I would encourage you to understand your team, understand who you are, understand the people that you're leading, and be able to communicate really effectively in that way. So again, back to the people and contacts, those high influential folks that are all about people. You're all about communication. You're all about, look at this, I'm talking with my hands, facial expressions. That's an outgoing style. Someone who's reserved is going to have very little behavior, body language going on in their behavior. You may have your hands under the desk. You're not going to be exhibiting a lot of facial expressions. So that's another way to understand communication. I'm outgoing. It's very hard for me not to talk with my hands. So here they are. Back, present. When you're communicating with someone who's very outgoing, those high influential individuals, don't over data. Don't give them too many facts, too many figures. Their eyes are going to glaze over. Literally, they're going to check out. So if you're going to present on facts, make sure that you have that in writing, that you follow up with all of the context that you need, but connect with them individually. It really does help when you need to dive into the data to be able to have that connection, that human connection with that individual. Now, on the other end of the continuum, the reserved person. So that individual actually has a little bit of low trust with other people. So they want data. They want you to give them the information so that they can buy in, so that they can trust, so that they can connect in that way. So make sure that you're giving the facts, the information, because they're very fact-based, they're information-based. They want all of those data points to be able to build trust with you and connect in that way. So outgoing individuals, high trust of others, very outgoing, very connecting with people. The reserved end of that spectrum, lower trust of others, more reserved, not as assertive, and definitely preference would be to work alone. So knowing where you fall, where your team falls, is going to help you engage as a leader. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't listened to my previous podcast on problems and challenges, go back and listen to that one. If you haven't taken the assessment to figure out where you are on this continuum, I encourage you to go to our website. The links are in our bio to be able to take a free work from home assessment and learn your behavioral style and where you are on this continuum, this journey of learning to grow as a leader. I hope you've enjoyed these tips we've shared today. Join us next week as we talk about our next aspect of human behavior. Thank you for joining us today. You have the potential to communicate, engage, and lead with significant impact, and my goal is to help you do just that. Whether you're trying to get that next big promotion, scale your small business, or manage a team of thousands, there's always room for growth, and I can help you get there. Go to disc-report.com and find out what style of leader you are by downloading my free ebook on communication. Until next time, lead well and prosper.